I'm going to do a review of my KSC M945 Combat Master. Before I start my video, I'd just like to say, if you're going to ask a question about it, please make sure I didn't answer the question already in the video. A lot of people ask me questions that I've already answered, and I'm just getting sick of answering them. Also, I'll apologize. I've also had this commented too, is that my bird in the background is really obnoxious. I'm aware of that. So, if we can just ignore that too. Alright, so we'll get right down to the gun. It's the KSC M945 Combat Master. I got this gun from redwolf.com. This is what your box is going to look like when you open it, minus the directions. This is a really unique gun. It's got a very unique shape to it. It's the 1911 style, like the Colt 45. This actually does fire 45 ACP. The real one does anyway. Really nice gun. It's got the nice, it's not so much chrome, it's more silvery. If you compare it to a Tokyo Marui finish, the Tokyo Marui blows it away, but it still looks awesome. It's got all its trademarks intact. So, what's really nice about it too is it's got these nice fish scale designs on the slide. Alright, now to get down to the technical stuff about the gun. It's around 300 feet per second. It's okay in accuracy, it does pretty good. It does have a hop up, which you adjust with this hop up tool. You lock the slide back. Slide lock. So you lock back the slide. Then you get this tool right here. There is a threaded barrel. You put the tool in the barrel, and then you turn it, and that's what adjusts the hop up. Fairly simple for a pistol, because you actually don't have to disassemble it like most, which is pretty nice. Here's the magazine. Holds about 15 rounds. The charge is probably good for about 2.5 clips, so it works really great. The gun is all plastic construction, except for the metal trigger, these assorted pieces here. The beaver tail safety, I believe, is metal. Just very small parts, anything pretty much black on the gun. These grips are plastic, although they do look very real, and they feel very real. They are not, in fact, wood. Couple things I've noticed with this gun that I'm not a huge fan of is it's not the heaviest gun. Without the magazine, it's kind of light. Doesn't really make the best sound when you're shooting it too. It's kind of got a very plasticky sound to it. But this gun is rather difficult. Like when you cock back the hammer, on most pistols you can cock it to half position, half cocked, which means it should not fire, but the gun can still be cocked after you cock it, half cocked, so you don't have to use a safety. You can just pull the hammer and fire. In this gun, when you bring it into half cocked position, you have to be careful. I skirmished with this gun. It did alright in the skirmish, but I went to decock it, and my friend was standing next to me, and the gun sometimes messes up, and it fired when I pulled the trigger, brought it down to half cocked, and when it got to half cocked, it fired and shot him in the arm at point blank and actually bruised him. So, just be careful with that. And also, when it's at half cocked, you can still fire. When there's gas in it, the slide will blow back just enough to cock it that much again, and then it'll only fire that much. It's really annoying. Also, sometimes you decock it, it'll get stuck kind of, and then release all the gas in the magazine, and kind of slide will start moving around a little bit. So it can be difficult to work with. Like I said, this is your standard 1911 style, so it's got all the 1911 safety features. Cock back the hammer. You got an ambidextrous safety, which is nice. You also have your standard beaver tail safety, which means you have to have your palm of your hand on that at all times, or else the gun will not fire. Now for disassembly, I'm not going to disassemble it. If you'll notice, if you watch my other reviews, I'm usually at a table. Right now I'm in front of my computer because it's more convenient for uploading. So I'm not going to disassemble it. It's your standard 1911 disassembly, which means you bring back your slide, push this pin out, which will pop out your slide catch, and the entire slide will just slide forward and come right off. Now, what is unique about this gun, which you don't really see much in 1911s unless it's a more modern one, is this piece right here. Usually on the 1911s, it's got what they call a free-floating barrel. The front is held in by a pin. This is actually held in by this metal, it's almost like a small barrel. I don't know exactly what it's called. I know it's a lot more modern and a lot better. You also got these nice, instead of having your standard 1911 sights, which is just kind of like a little crosshair, you got these big, bulky, nice things. I don't know what they're called. They're like Hogu or something, I forget. Now I got this gun off Red Wolf Airsoft for $130. I got it as the deal of the month, so it was on sale and came with an extra magazine, so that was pretty nice. I'd recommend this gun. It's more for collectors. When you compare this to Tokyo Marui's, it has a low ammo capacity and low velocity depending on the model, or lower, but it's also a sidearm, so you don't really have to worry about so much velocity. As a sidearm, you want a minimum of 200. So I'd recommend it. Like I said, it's more of a collector's. This is a little bit more rare item, as opposed to your standard M9s, Colt 45s, and all that. This one would definitely be, you'd be the only one having this on the battlefield by far. But it's pretty decent. I'm actually gonna get my Tokyo Marui Colt 45 now. I'm gonna show you some comparisons to this 1911 and then the standard original 1911. Here are the trademarks on the magazine, and then right there. Alright, just for a quick comparison, I'm going to show you what the standard 1911 looks like. It's the Tokyo Marui Colt 45. Probably my favorite pistol. And then this is the KSC one, like we've been looking at. Now, one thing you'll notice is the hand grip is a lot bigger on the Combat Master than on the standard 1911, a lot longer. And the magazines are also very different. On the bottom of the Colt 45, Marui Colt 45, the magazine is flush with the bottom, whereas this one sticks out a lot more. And you also notice a difference in the beaver tail safeties. It's a lot bigger on this one. I'm not going to go into small details like the trigger and all that, because that's obviously going to be different. Those are varied on a lot of different pistols. So you also notice the slide on the Combat Master is a lot more square. On the sides, it's more like a square slide, almost like a Glock slide, whereas on this 1911, it's perfectly round on top. You also notice the ejection port. It's a small, kind of like oval, whereas on the Combat Master, it takes up pretty much the entire top half and this side of the slide, and it's a lot bigger. Those are really the major differences. So, on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd probably give this gun about a 7 or 8. It does pretty decent. Yeah, thank you for watching my review. Stay posted for any of my other reviews, and thank you.